Wednesday night. Welcome to Entertainment Business Law Special Meeting, special guest speaker, super special guest speaker. We have talent agent extraordinaire Anthony Esposito from ATB Talent here with us tonight. And Anthony is a special guest because he's also a LA Film School alum. So let's give it a digital round of applause for Anthony, I guess. And we'll go ahead and kind of start the interview. You know, as we generally do, we want to hear about your backstory, right? We want to hear about where you're from, how long you've worked in Hollywood, how your time was here at LA Film School, and what was the progression out into the real world.
Well, first off, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm happy that some people showed up, and I'm going to do my best to offer my knowledge to you guys and some of the experiences that I had. You know, I'm going to share that with you, and hopefully you can take that with you and do the best you can, you know, without making the same mistakes that I made. So I am originally from Las Vegas, Nevada, born and raised. I was in the military back, you know, when I was 18 years old. I got into the Marine Corps, got out at 22. And then after the Marine Corps, I got out and went back to Las Vegas, which is my home, of course. And then I was in the hospitality industry for about 5 years. I worked for big companies such as Tao Group, Light Group, Hakkasan Group. You guys might be familiar with those companies. There's some of those companies are out here, Tao, for example. And then after working in nightlife and hospitality for about 5-6 years in Las Vegas, I had friends that were in the entertainment industry, and it seemed like something very exciting to get into. So I spoke to a few buddies of mine, and they, you know, I was saying, "Hey, man, how did you get into this industry?" Like they were working for the shows on the Las Vegas Strip. So eventually, a friend of mine lined me up with the owner of a big production company out there, and we had a meeting. And the next day they hired me to work as an assistant for Spy Entertainment. It's a production company out there that runs about 7 of the shows that are on the Las Vegas Strip. That's where I got my foot in the door out there. After working for them for a while, I loved it and I wanted to do more. So I eventually, you know, while I was going to school, I started working for another production company as well, which was Steve Byer Talent and Production Agency. And then Spy Entertainment was mostly focused on doing production shows on the Strip. Steve Byer's company was more about booking actors and performers and musicians and stuff for different venues or events and parties and stuff like that. So I was really starting to get some experience on how this industry worked and this job. I fell in love with that. And after getting some experience for a few years out there in Vegas, I kind of felt like at the time it was still kind of small. I mean, Vegas has been booming now over the last 3-4 years. It's been blowing up like crazy. But I wanted to do more. So I moved out here to challenge myself. I came about 7 years ago. I moved out here to Los Angeles, California. And, you know, I was just working in Las Vegas, loving my job, but I wanted more. And once I decided that I wanted to go to LA, I pretty much was out here 2 weeks after I made that decision in my mind. You know, I reached out to LA Film School, and thankfully, since I'm a veteran, I was able to get everything lined up pretty quickly, and without having to worry about finances and stuff. So that worked out in my favor, and it really helped the transition out here. So moving out here 7 years ago, and then that's where things really took off. You know, I've been motivated since day one, still motivated, still going hard, very excited about what I do and love it. I'm very passionate about it. And, you know, it's exciting. So, I started going to school at LA Film School. I took, you know, as many classes as possible and graduated as possible, quicker than the normal term of, you know, the entertainment business degree. I graduated quickly. And then,
Nice.
And then after, I knocked that out. And then after that, I went to New York Film Academy, which is where I got my master's degree in film production. So I, you know, at LA Film School, where I learned entertainment business, it was amazing because I learned everything that I needed to learn about this industry. I was coming in very green, didn't know much, but I was hungry for knowledge. And so I learned as much as I could, as quick as I could. So I love every class that I took. And after that, went straight to New York Film Academy to get my master's in film production.
What motivated you to get the extended degree?
Well, if the military is going to pay for it, I'm going to take advantage.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah. So entertainment, at LA Film School, I learned a lot of the business side of things. And then at New York Film Academy, that's where I started learning more of the creative side of things. So now I'm pretty well-rounded when it comes to the creative or the business side of this industry, which is great because I know how things work. I know how people work. I know what looks good, what should be done, how things should be done, and who's like, what is good work, how to make a movie and stuff like that. It's all very important stuff.
So what was your first job then, out of the master's program into the working world? What was your first job experience out of school?
Well, it started with internships.
Okay.
And I'm a hustler out here. And I started actually while I was at LA Film School interning at a few agencies. I interned at a music agency, which was great.
Okay.
Learned that I didn't really want to work for musicians. I loved it. It was great, but I knew that I wanted to stick with acting, but I had to get that experience just to see what I wanted and what I didn't want. And then of course I worked for Beecher's Madhouse. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Beecher's Madhouse, another big company that's been around for a while with Jeff Beecher. He brings in a lot of celebrities and stuff for his shows, which was a lot of fun. Made a lot of friends, met a lot of people that way. And over there in West Hollywood. And then, aside from my internships while I was at school, I did my side hustling. I still worked for the nightlife industry out here for a little while, which helped me with my networking. I was shaking hands with very successful people, influencers, celebrities, wealthy business people. It was a great way to get out there and start really getting to know this industry and the city and everything else. And then, of course, I went to New York Film Academy, and then I did a couple internships while I was there as well. And all that stuff really helped me launch myself into where I am today.
And so talk to us about where you're at today. Maybe explain to the students what the difference is between a talent agent, a talent manager, an attorney, and what your role is specifically and kind of what you do day to day.
Okay. So I did for a little while also manage. I managed a few music artists out here.
Okay.
While I was out at LA Film School, I was learning about management by taking the management classes and stuff, which I had interest in. So I started my own little management company, and I was booking bands and I was booking DJs at different venues out here, different bars, nightclubs, lounges, which was a great experience. I learned it a lot, but still I was like, I don't really want to go this direction. So I stayed focused on the agency thing, kept coming back to working as an agent. A manager should be guiding your career. A talent agent is the one that steps up and negotiates the deals to make sure that you're getting paid, to make sure that everything works out fairly for you, the actor, the client as well, who's paying, and of course us, the agents. So to sum it up, there's a lot more to it, but managers should be guiding your career, and the agents step up to keep it on track. Make sure that your career is making sure that you're getting the right deals and business offers along the way.
That's awesome.
And then for an attorney, how would you explain that one?
So after you're done negotiating the deals and confirming price, exclusivity, when and where the actor's going to be and what their perks and packages are, the studio the business affairs executives or the attorneys within the studio will draft what is known as the long form paperwork. And that will be anywhere from a 5 to 10 to 50 page contract that then gets passed over to us. And both the agent and the attorney work together in terms of reading the contract, verifying the terms, going over what they had negotiated. Okay, agent, you negotiated this, confirm, check, and we work in tandem to make sure both the business end and the legal end is taken care of, so that when they go to sign, that they know that they're legally protected.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of how the law attorney's role kind of fits in. We'll take questions towards the end. And so what's your day-to-day like?
So this is a lifestyle, you know, it's a lifestyle. It's a 24-hour day job, you know, like I might go to the office early in the day, put in my office hours, and then I might go home, go work out, you know, go to the gym or whatever, but then I got to get back to work at night. So I'll work from home if I have to. And I, you know, it's a lifestyle. It's not just a 9-to-5 job. So it's nonstop. You're constantly on your phone. You're constantly doing emails, text messages, dealing with auditions, talking to these casting directors, you know, the producers, the directors, actors, and whoever else you need to be talking to make sure business is being done, no matter who you are dealing with and where you're at. So even at the gym, you know, I'm texting, doing emails, stuff like that. But you do have to prioritize your time. I'm very, very busy. My time is very limited, and you know, I value it a lot right now. We
thank you for sharing some with us.
Of course.
What about, do you read any of the trades, and can you talk about the importance of just staying informed?
It's very important. Yes, I read a lot of them. Variety, you know, everything that's out there, you know, up to date.
So for those who aren't in the know, the trades are.
Well, there's a few. You know, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and then whatever else you're really into. There's, you know, depending on who you watch or what you're reading, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, they used to actually be in physical form, right? Back in the dinosaur age, but now they're all online, and you can go on Deadline, you can go on Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Entertainment Weekly, People, any sort of like news outlet, Jezebel, and stay informed on the day-to-day deal makings that happen in real time.
Also, I do want to clarify this for those of you that don't know this yet. I am a commercial agent at the moment, not a theatrical agent. So it's a different world, different kind of job. Same hustle, but right now at ATB, we have other agents that are focused on the theatrical work, which is film and television. And then for the commercial world, the hustle is a little bit different. You know, the commercials are not in Variety. They're not in the Hollywood Reporter, for example, and whatever else you read or watch. So I have to stay on top of my job in other ways by reaching out to people and doing stuff like that. So, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's very important to stay up to date with everything, because you need to know what's being done, what movies are happening, who should you be contacting to get things. So if you're not watching these shows or reading these articles and stuff like that, you can always go to IMDb, which is a great resource to find out who's doing what, and you know, it's, you know, you can get their contact information and stuff from there. And that's an important website. Get IMDb Pro if you don't have it already set up. I highly recommend that. So
I wish all of my interns would get IMDb Pro, but it's kind of expensive. I can't ask them to do that. So
I can.
So was there any classes in particular or specifically that you recommend taking that, you know, help you day to day, or that you found particularly enlightening, that you recommend that all the students take?
You know, it really depends on what your focus is, but everything that I learned, I love to learn. So everything that I took, I was really interested in. You know, I graduated with honors in both schools, which was a lot for me. You know, growing up as a kid, I wasn't always interested in school. But then in college, I tried to go to a normal university and stuff, but learning like stuff that was not related to anything I'm interested in, I had no interest in. So I wasn't able to comprehend didn't want to pay attention to that stuff. But when you start taking classes that you're actually interested in, then you're going to excel and do well. So all of that stuff is important. Management classes, contracts, what else is out there? Like any filmmaking classes, everything is important. You're going to use it all. So definitely soak it all in, retain as much knowledge as possible, and try not to forget anything.
I think the students would be really interested to hear you talk about contracts as not being an attorney, as all of us knowing contracts are kind of scary. They're long, they're drawn out, they're long-winded and a bunch of legalese. Can you talk about your process for reading contracts and going through and making sure that the terms are correct?
Yeah. So, my big boss, Todd, who is the owner of ATB, he deals with the most complicated stuff. But I also deal with a lot of contracts myself. And the main thing that we usually look out for, the main thing that I usually come across are things such as in perpetuity. So you want to be aware, you want to know what you're reading. It's not always the most complicated, but you do want to know what it is saying. So for example, sometimes my actors have to turn down an audition because they might like yesterday, I just got an offer. One girl was going to get paid for doing something, and it could have affected her, like doing a Pepsi commercial could affect you doing another like Mountain Dew commercial in the future, something like that. And like it's okay for these companies to use your likeness, your brand, your image, and all that for a while, but you got to be aware if they want to use it for a lifetime, because they might pay you, $1,000 now for this, your likeness that could last a lifetime, which down the future might affect you, and you could have made $1 million on another product or project from a different company. So you don't want to do something that's going to interfere with another job down the road. So you just got to be aware of that. Other stuff to look for in contracts. I don't know. It's
No, that's okay. Made you suffer enough. What about?
It's pretty basic stuff, they're just laying down the guidelines, the rules. This is what we want from you. This is what we expect from you. And if you do this in return, this is what you're going to get. So, but of course, understanding the terminology that is very important. So. Anyway.
I think in my law class, we discussed a case where a model had signed off on using one of her photos in a particular film, and the producers of that film used it in a not very favorable light. And if you went and looked at the fine print, it said, producer can use it in any way, shape, or form that they want in perpetuity forever. So that's exactly the kind of stuff you want to be aware of, because as a rep, as a talent agent, as an attorney, you are the gatekeeper for your client. You are the protector for them. Their job is to perform artistic work. Your job is to do the artistic dance of the paperwork. So I love it. Very cool. What is it like working with talent? While we're on the subject, are there parts that you really enjoy, parts that you don't enjoy?
Talent. I mean, it keeps life interesting. I'm a business guy, and I'm always, that's my role in the entertainment industry, but I love entertainment. So working with artists is a lot of fun. It's always exciting. I'm always going to red carpet events, doing premieres, showing face, networking with some very creative and talented people. So, aside from working and being serious and focused in the office all the time, I get to go out and have a good time, which is also part of my job. So
what's your favorite thing to go out and do then for fun?
Find new talent.
Find new talent. Just keep working, right? No, you like music, you like concerts. I see you go to concerts and stuff like that. So you get out to the entertainment world. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, your success really depends on your work ethic and what you do and how you make your moves. You know, to me, this industry is a game. I don't know if a lot of people look at it that way, but you really want to play the game the best you can. There's going to be a lot of failures, a lot of obstacles, but you want to push through those and keep on moving forward. Don't ever quit, because you will eventually get to where you want to be in life. You will accomplish those goals and succeed. You'll make it all happen as long as you don't stop.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's a Game of Thrones, that for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of failures, can you talk about maybe one of your failures and how you learned from it and grew early on in your career? You know, a lot of these kids will be going out in the working world. This may be their first time in an office. I think for me, I probably killed 2 or 3 copy machines by sending the staples through the copy machines in my first office job, because I was just a bartender. Can you tell us anything similar that you had on your end?
Well, you know, I come from like the nightlife industry, the entertainment industry, and we're like the new generation, the next generation. I mean, I've been in the game for a while now, but there's there's me and my style of working as an agent versus a lot of other agents who are a lot older, like old school agents. Mm-hmm. And I do things a little differently. You know, there are rules to play by, but at the same time, there are no rules. You need to make your own. And there is no correct path to success or to achieve your goal here. You just need to find your way and make it happen. So I've probably failed more than most people have even tried, but I don't really, and every time I failed, it's a lesson to be learned. I learned what to do, what not to do, and how to do things. And there's other people, like when I was interning at other agencies and stuff, there were old school agents who doubted me. I was told plenty of times that, oh, you'll never be an agent, you'll never succeed. You don't have what it takes. I'm not going to let someone else's opinion dictate my future. So I, kept moving and went after what I wanted, and I achieved it.
Very cool. Very cool. Last question, and we'll open it up to the audience. What is one piece of advice you'd give to someone just starting out in their entertainment career?
I hope you're hungry. I hope you have that. Don't stop. If you're not in this industry to win, then you shouldn't be in this industry at all. Like I was saying, it's a game, and everyone moves here to be successful. And if you want to be successful, you got to outwork your competition. But at the same time, everyone's an ally. You can't do this alone. It's a industry based off relationships. So you want to work with everybody, but also it's all about you. And you want to stay away from distractions, stay focused, and just keep on pushing forward. What else?
Looks like we have some questions in the chat as well.
Bring
Lori posted one. So, Lori's from our career development team.
Do you suggest getting a master's, or will my bachelor's get me as far as well?
What are you pursuing? What are you trying to do?
Lauren.
It depends on you don't
casting.
You don't need a master's degree. For most jobs in this industry, you don't need a degree at all. A degree, I love LA Film School, but degrees are there to give you knowledge and that knowledge is what's going to actually help you get ahead. But if you're able to retain, learn things and get knowledge in other ways, then that's great. You take that knowledge, whether it's from YouTube or reading, doing other stuff through hands-on experience, for example, you can still make things happen and work your way up. You don't need a master's degree, but a bachelor degree is definitely recommended. A lot of casting offices and stuff do want someone with some sort of education and background in this industry, so it'll definitely help you, but not a master's.
Yeah, probably not a master's for casting, but I mean, obviously most places nowadays do obviously want to see the bachelor's degree, but it's obviously, like Anthony said, it's how much you take away from the classes that you're in. Are you participating in the lectures? Are you showing up for class? Are you doing the assignments? Because at the end of the day, you pay a lot of money to be here.
Yeah.
Like Anthony's spending his precious time, you get an entertainment attorney, you get Jessica, you get all of the access to all of these great resources, all of these different people in the entertainment industry. You have 2.5, 3 years of school to suck as much information out of us as you can, and then go about your way and try to make it in the world. So, it's really on you to be the master of your own destiny, the master of your own education. In entertainment, no one will show you the path. You have to really walk your own.
I'm happy you brought that up real quick. When I stepped into this industry, the city, I didn't know anybody. All right. I had one military friend. I had one military friend out here who lives in Whittier, California. And I moved from Las Vegas to Whittier, California for about 4 months. I stayed with him until I was able to get my own place here in Hollywood. He's the only person I knew out here in LA. And I'm very grateful for him helping me transition out here. But I had no place to stay, didn't know anybody. And now I know a lot of people and have experienced everything, and what I really didn't have, what I wish I had over the years of being in this industry, especially starting out, it was a mentor. For years, I had no mentor. I had no guidance. I knew what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. Or become, but I had no one actually there by my side. So although there were rules for playing this game, I kind of made up my own rules along the way and did whatever it took to get where I needed to be. So it's going to take a lot of failures, but don't let that bother you. Just move on to the next step as quickly as possible. This industry, this career that you're pursuing, it's all about you're especially agents, we're problem solvers. If something goes wrong, don't think about it too much. Just solve the problem right away and move on to the next thing. But that's one reason I really wanted to be here talking to you guys. I love doing this because when I was in your guys' situation, nobody was there to talk to me. And so I'm happy to be able to give back to you guys.
And it's so funny because, we all come from all different parts of the world, but the entertainment industry itself ends up being very small. Between myself, Jessica, and Anthony, Jessica and I are both from the same part of the country. We're both from Iowa, from a town not even, 20 miles, 50 miles away from each other. Anthony, I represent part of his company on some theatrical deals here and there, and all of us knew each other through LA Film School. But it's just through keeping those contacts, keeping those connections, building those relationships, that we all do something different and we can all progress further in our careers. So stay close to your colleagues, stay close to the people in your class, stay close to your professors and other alumni as you move about your career. So Lori asks, I noticed ATB has a social media and influencer division. Can you tell us some more about that?
That is a new department that I'm actually in charge of. I'm building it out right now. I already work with a handful of influencers. We're not a management company, so we don't go in and find influencers and we don't help them build their following. We work with influencers. We sign influencers that already have a following. They're already getting business deals brought to them. And when something is being offered, we step up and negotiate to make sure that the client gets what they want, and then the talent in us get paid. So we're building it out right now. One thing we are about to implement, though, instead of just waiting for the influencers we work with to be brought opportunities, we're going to be finding those opportunities for them. So that'll be good for the agency. But I am in charge of the commercial departments and social media departments for the LA and New York market. We're a bi-coastal agency. So I also run the commercial departments in New York as well.
Charlie, go ahead.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. So I have two questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
One is, you guys were talking about the long form paperwork, and I was curious, I believe the agent gets a percentage, but what is it that the attorney gets? Do they also get a percentage, or who pays for the attorney?
It's all prearranged between the client and their attorney. Sometimes the attorney will take 5 to 10%, or sometimes they'll charge an hourly rate. Sometimes they'll charge a flat fee. Sometimes they'll charge nothing if they're trying to build a relationship with the client or talent. It's not the same straight. Anthony, I think you're what, 15%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 10% plus production fee for the commercial stuff.
Okay.
Social media departments, 15%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my second question was, if, as like an actor, if that's our goal, how do we reach out to you guys to be able to ask you to be our agent? What do we do?
Make sure you have your stuff together. Like, don't reach out to anybody.
Headshots and stuff?
Yeah. And write at least a little paragraph of who you are, what you're doing, what you're currently working on, what your background is. Like, keep it short and straight to the points. When you send your email out, send us at least in a minimum your headshots, your reels, and your resume, and maybe your website link or whatever links that might work in your favor as well.
Okay.
If someone doesn't at least have that stuff in a resume or their email, I probably won't even take a look at it. So,
okay.
see.
And
Thank
the
you.
attorney comes much later. The attorney comes after the agent's gotten you the gig, gotten you the job, and has secured that with the network or studio. And they're like, okay, it's time to sign the paperwork. Here you go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course.
Who's next? Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. I got some. Are there departments within ATB with open internships? And if so, how do you apply?
Right now we have 3 interns, so that's a yes. And I think they're only going to be working with us for a couple months. But if you're interested, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. Say that I told you to do so. You could either email my boss Todd, or email me, and I could forward that information to him as well. If you're definitely interested. We just got, thanks to Jessica, we got interns from LA Film School.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What would be one of the first questions to ask someone in the media industry to get more information about potential positions? I don't know if I understand that one.
Yeah, say it again.
What would be one of the first questions to ask someone in the media industry to get more information about potential positions? I think that's kind of just like what was being asked. Do you have internships? Do you take interns? Do you have assistants? And if you don't, do you take, actually a really good question is do you take mentees? Because not everyone wants to hire someone and commit to paying them. But if someone will be your mentor, like Anthony was talking about earlier, it's great to get a mentor early on in the entertainment industry.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any mentees, but
there you go, guys. Don't have any mentees. Let me see. Darshan. Oh, you're on mute, buddy.
Yeah, hi. Hi,
Hi.
how are you guys? Hi. I have a question. I'm a DJ and a music producer based in Los Angeles. I've
Yeah.
been DJing since over like 6 years now, but
Cool.
I've just started releasing music like this year. And of course, I do want to get live gigs and everything. Would you
Yeah.
suggest me to contact an agent to start getting gigs, or should I just wait until I build up my profile?
Do both at the same time.
Okay.
Build up everything and start getting your name out there.
Okay.
And don't rely on someone for your success. I don't know if you're a business guy or just mostly creative. I mean, I know a lot of DJs that are booking themselves, doing all the business stuff themselves. But if you want, you should, if you don't like to do the business stuff, try to find a manager, try to find an agent. Even if it's a best friend that believes in you and it's out there, ready to find opportunities for you. Work out a deal with him, and get your name out there. Start DJing at these places. It's very easy, especially in LA. You know, there's a lot of like places that are not very corporate, and there's a lot of places you can be working all throughout the week.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
On a similar vein, Juanita asked, could graphic designers be managed and represented? Are graphic designers managed and represented? And the answer to that is yes. There's agents for graphic designers. Attorneys represent graphic designers as well. Anthony, do you guys represent any graphic designers or below the line people?
We do not, no.
Okay, there's specific agencies that represent what is known as BTL, right, below the line, and they primarily represent people like line producers, unit production managers, directors of photography, costume designers, VFX designers, graphic designers. You got to think about all those people that win awards at Oscar times for the animated projects and stuff. All of those people have agents and managers as well. So yes. Let's see here. Any other questions?
Yeah, good questions, guys. There's 35 of you. I know there's more questions.
Charlie?
I saw it in the, thank you, sorry. I saw it in the chat. Also, somebody else asked too. Can you give us your email address possibly?
Yeah, it is Anthony@atbtalent.com.
Thank you.
I bet Jessica will put it in the chat for us if Anthony thinks that that's okay. Tracy, you have your hand up?
I do.
Go ahead.
So currently I work in the automotive industry in research and development.
Nice.
And so I'm transitioning into a new career in the entertainment business because I have a passion for both music and film.
Very cool.
So I would like to know, what are your recommendations to like break into this industry as I want to work in A&R or PR marketing. I have experience in both PR and marketing, but also, I work now. Yeah. So I just, I'm trying to find my way and it's kind of hard.
Are you doing any freelance stuff?
Not at the moment. No, I'm not.
Are you trying to build your own brand or work for someone else?
Well, ultimately, I would like to build my own brand, but, in order to get started, I need to, work for someone to understand the business and to learn the business.
Sure. Are you interning with anybody?
No, I'm not. I would love to.
There you go. I would start going to these events that you're interested in. What type of PR work do you want to do?
So I finished my PR class and actually did pretty well in it. I got an A+. Nice. And so I did a campaign for Alicia Keys.
Oh, wow.
And I had to do a complete campaign for her. And then also we had to do some campaigning for Kevin Hart. Things like that I'm interested in. Like I said, both music and film I'm very passionate about. So I can go either way.
Yeah. Well, are you out networking all the time? At least on the weekends? Once or twice a week?
No, because I don't know, I'm coming from the automotive industry. So you ask me something about automotive industry, I know where to go and what to do. But as far as like entertainment, I don't know. And that's what I want to know.
So you can start there. There's events all the time in the city, but instead of going to enjoy it all the time, instead of just going there for fun, go at it with business in mind. Like, go think business. You're going there to network with people. You're going there to shake hands and find opportunities, and not just have a great time. That's what I do with everything I do. It's always about business. I would go find someone that you can mentor. Maybe go to these things that you really enjoy, and maybe someone's offering an internship. And you just really need to find those opportunities. Email some people, make some phone calls. No one's going to help you. No one's going to reach their hands out to help you. You need to reach out and find them.
Right.
When I first moved to LA, I think I sent over 100 resumes out and got 0 responses. One of the best things that you can do is find an entry-level assistant position in a field that is tangential to what it is you want to do, because that will be your foot in the door to start networking. And one of the things that I learned, I worked at a talent agency for my first job as well, straight out of law school. And one of the first things that they taught me when I started is you should have lunch with a new person every single day in the building to try to get to know everybody. And Anthony's kind of talked about how much networking he does. I'm sure he does a ton of lunches.
All the time. And it's part of the game. I put aside a specific, like a set budget monthly just for, having lunches and, going out and doing things. And it's all business related. Does that help you?
Yeah, it did. It did.
No one's gonna reach out and grab your hand. So you need to go out and find those opportunities. Pick up the phone, send out emails, show face to these events, and go find those people that you should be working with and show them that you're hungry. Show them that you're there. And I've done a lot of things for free. And a lot of times that's what you need to do. So until you build up your experience, your resume, and then eventually start getting paid for what you love.
Got it.
I did a lot of free internships, from American Idol to Marvel to Lionsgate. They were all free.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, and that's something that, I don't mind doing, because I want to learn, I want to know. And so in order for me to do that, I need to be like hands-on in things.
Exactly. So you just have to get out there, find those people.
Jessica's got a great question, and it kind of broaches some of the topics that I discuss in both law and ethics class. But there's obviously strong labor unions here in Los Angeles with regards to the Writers Guild of America, the Directors Guild of America, and probably very applicable to you, the Screen Actors Guild. So we want to know, what is your relationship like with the Screen Actors Guild and the other unions in town? What is a union for those in the audience who haven't taken my class yet? And how does it relate to the commercial work that you do?
So we're mostly focused on SAG, not so much the Writers Guild and DGA and all that stuff, because we deal with actors. And it's important to know about the union, because that affects how we get paid, how the actors get paid, what laws to abide by, and in order to get things done, you've got to be licensed in certain ways. You've got to have contracts and with certain people. It's kind of a question to get more in depth in. How can you sum it up? It's the union, you're safer being union, and there's a lot of benefits to being in the union. But if you are an actor, for example, the bigger jobs are union, but there will be, if you're non-union, there's going to be a lot more work. Usually that's how it works. So the actors that are non-union, there's a lot more work out there, but it's, the pay might be a little less. And eventually, as you start booking, TV shows and stuff like that, you might be forced to go union, especially if you want to get into bigger movies or other projects. But for the commercial world, it's very important, no matter what you're doing, whether it's theatrical or commercial, you've got to be aware of the unions, because they all have different rules to abide by. Can you put it in your knowledge?
I was going to say, for those who haven't necessarily taken my class, a union is just a collective pool of labor force, right? So there's obviously the firefighters union, the police officers union, and then here in Los Angeles, the unions are more tied specifically to the entertainment industry. So back in the 1930s and 40s, all of the actors were being held under very adhesive contracts that allowed them to do very little outside of the studio system. So the actors pooled together and they said, hey, if you want to hire any of our unionized actors, these are the particular rules that you have to abide by as a studio, as a commercial company for hiring one of our employees. So it involves things such as work time restrictions, meal penalties, how long they can be in front of the camera, what their travel package is like, what Anthony's services can do, etc. And that's just the unions in a nutshell.
Yep. Well said.
If I were to attempt to go into acting, would you recommend VA first or actual acting? What's VA first? Voice acting?
Yeah, voice acting. Because personally, for me, I'm like a huge anime fan, and I've seen a lot of actors. I've seen their interviews online, and like one of like the biggest ones that like I would think as an inspiration would be Matthew Mercer, who's done Critical Role, who does video games, animated movies, and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, because for me personally, it's like it seems like something I would want to do in the long run later on, depending on like what's going on, but it's like it would be good to like do that as a side hustle as well.
Sure.
Anthony, do you guys represent voice actors?
We do. I do actually.
Awesome.
Yeah. So aside from commercial work, I also pitch people for print work, models. I submit and pitch people for voiceover work. I also do industrial work, video game work, and I stay pretty busy. Yeah. But your question was, which one should you pursue or do first, right? If you wanted to get into,
I guess to say which one would be better recommended for like a beginner like me, because it's funny because like I don't really like see it as a big thing for me, but I know like when I'm playing video games with my friends or hanging out with my friends and we do like impressions, they're like kind of impressed like how I do certain impressions, or like how it's like, oh, you should try it. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, who knows what I gotta do,
I guess there is no right or wrong answer. It depends on what you like the most. There's a lot of people that make a living just off of voiceover acting.
And I will say that because of COVID and pandemic, the climate has very much shifted towards more animated shows, more animated feature films. There's more animated voiceover work than there's ever been before. Just know to call it VO services, Diego, not VA.
Yeah.
Voiceover, got it. I think it's because that's me and my friends lingo, because like voice actor or voice acting. So my bad.
But it's funny because that's just the little kind of nuanced things that you learn, as you slowly start to move about your career in the industry. We just have particular jargonized terms and we say things a particular way. It may sound like we're speaking Chinese, but it's just, you got to learn how to speak the speak.
You could start now if you wanted to get a nice little studio set up at your house, put some recordings together, and send that off to some agencies. Maybe they will like it and start representing you.
David's got a great question here. What's your experience with working with international artists, and any tips and recommendations if you're an international talent?
It's kind of hard unless you have a green card, work permits. I don't work with people that are international right now, unfortunately, because of they need those things in order to do any type of production work. You could do stuff under the table. You could do whatever you want, but for agencies to actually represent you, it's a little difficult unless you have the work card, work permit or green card or something like that. It's just the law.
It is the law, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I have a question, kind of related to that. So as international people, like after an education visa, which is F1 visa, you either have to stay with H1B, which is a working visa, or an artist visa. Is there any supports that companies like you might have helping them?
Yeah. So if you find a good company that really likes you, I know that my boss has actually sponsored a couple of people who are international. And if we sponsor people, if someone sponsors you, that allows you to work here, of course. So that's always another direction you can take.
Oba, you want to go ahead, bud?
Yeah, I was wondering about excuse me, about placement with commercials with jingles with
Great question.
artists.
Make a lot of money that way.
Yeah. You know, I don't do stuff like that. I'm not too familiar on those things, but is that what you're focused on? Is that what you like to do?
No, sir. Well, I'm in kind of like my own little lane. I do rap, but it's R&B mixed. I call it vibrato flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I write all kinds of music, classical music, all of it, because I love all types of music. I'm in the audio production program at LA Film School.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Yeah, you'd have to well, I mean, you'd probably have to make deals with like music agencies, you know. Joshua might know more about this than I do.
Yeah, you know, it's a very lucrative field, writing jingles for film and television, because at the end of the day, if you write something that is a really big hit, or if the show itself is successful, the film itself is successful, you get royalties for days off of that work. And I know Sony ATV owns a company that does primarily TV commercial music licensing, but that's what you would have to search. You'd have to search TV and film commercial music licensing publishers or licensors, and try to find an internship or a assistant position, or find a way to submit your music if that's what you're trying to do.
I mean, there's a lot of things you could do on your own, but you would most likely need to get in with a company that'll represent you and your music for those spots, you know, on film and TV or commercials or whatever. I don't know too much about that world, unfortunately, but that's the path you would have to take.
You guys don't do the music end?
No, we don't.
Your company?
No. I mean, a lot of our actors do like singing and stuff like that. We also have a theater department, you know, that type of music, but no music artist directly, specifically. There's other agencies that do that stuff though. So you get in good with them and you'll be set.
Oh my God.
Does that kind of help?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
All right. We could probably got time for one more question, guys.
I actually have a question. It's not on topic. I wanted to wait to the end just because it's like for my personal knowledge. But
Go ahead.
I'm also a Marine Corps veteran, and I like asking this question to people. Did what you learn in the Marine Corps, did that ever like translate into what you do now?
I have better work ethic, so I would say yes. You know, more discipline, better work ethic. I did learn a lot in the Marine Corps, the military. I mean, I was infantry, so I didn't learn too much that I could take over with me into this industry. But like your hustle, your motivation, all that should be there with you. You know, your drive to get through all the obstacles and the problems should be there with you. You know, be able to push your way through everything and make sure that you stay focused on the task at hand and get what you want.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Does that help? I mean,
oh yeah, no, that's a lot of actual like information. It helps me out just knowing how and where like my brothers and sisters go after they EAS and stuff. So that helped. So thank you for that.
Yep, but you know, I'm kind of one of the few that I mean, there's not too many military guys. There's a handful of military guys in this industry, but compared to a lot of my peers, I seem to be a little more driven than most. I learned a lot of discipline and work ethic, like I was saying, and I just kind of took that with me and changed my direction, changed my goals, and then that helped me a lot.
Okay. All right. I got it. Thank you.
Hopefully that helps you.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's give Anthony another round of applause. Digital virtual round of applause. And thank you so much for taking time to speak with us. Thank you so much for giving your knowledge to the students. And yeah, we're gonna probably wrap things up here. My students, you're free to go. Jessica, anything else that needs to be done?
No, this has been wonderful. Anthony, I really appreciate you taking the time. And, Josh, I really appreciate you taking the lead on this. And all of you guys, all the students, everyone, appreciate you taking the time to come and sit in. This could be you next. So just know that you're learning everything that Anthony has learned. And maybe in a few years, you'll be a guest speaker talking to upcoming students.
Yes, and I love to help people. So if you want, feel free to email me. If I'll get to your emails as soon as possible. I'm pretty on top of it. And then, I'm just know I'm around. Message me on LinkedIn, any type of social media site. If you have any questions, I'll be here to help you and answer anything you're interested in.
Thank you again so much.
And you say your email address one more time.
Yeah,
it's in the chat.
I didn't in the chat.
Anthony at atbtalent.com.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
gonna repost it in the chat. Just one second.
Of course. Thanks, Charlie. Thank you all. Thank you everybody for tuning in again.
Thank you, Anthony. You're
Thank you.
awesome.
Stay safe, drive safe.
You too.
Thanks, everyone.
Joshua,
everyone.
Jessica, thank you so much.
Thank you, Anthony. Really appreciate it, bud.
Of course. Hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yeah, let's talk offline soon because we got to strategize about some things.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, later, guys.
See you guys.
Thank you.